Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if the dream of reason produces monsters, the theater dispels them with its magic.
Castlevania Lords of Shadow holds a peculiar place in Konami's long-running vampire series. It's the highest-selling title in franchise history, but for some, it just doesn't feel like a true Castlevania game. Now developer Mercury Steam is back to finish the tale they started, but can the modern-day Dracula tale told with Lords of Shadow 2 tap further into the lifeblood that's flowed through the series for over a quarter century?
What a timely coincidence. I'm dying for a little drop of blood.
The game's biggest obstacle is by far its first couple of hours. In quick succession, you're battered with combat tutorials, big chunks of lore, odd new stealth mechanics, and frequent scene changes. After lying dormant for centuries, Dracula's memories are fragmented, and for the player, there's a sense of stumbling through a fever dream as you question what just happened time and time again. The bizarre story setup doesn't help much either. Ever the manipulator Zobek, in his slick business suit, essentially blackmails Dracula to help him stop Satan's return. The Prince of Darkness is sent out like a little errand boy, uncovering plots such as a virus being cooked up to turn people into demons and unleash chaos in the streets of Castlevania City. Yes, that's what it's called.
What?
However, once you can distance yourself from the exposition and get the chance to explore and fight monsters, things begin to improve. Even the story eventually manages to redeem itself, providing great fan service moments and delving into such concepts as the castle being a realization of Dracula's own mind.
Am I truly here?
Unlike the chapter-based progression of the first game, this journey lets you openly travel across two distinct worlds. You pass through portals between the modern industrial city and Dracula's castle, an imposing space filled with all manner of disturbing creatures and blood-powered devices. Story beats provide new powers like freezing waterfalls or the ability to turn your body into mist, giving you access to more parts of each world. After acquiring all of these talents, there are plenty of new enclaves worth discovering in previously visited areas, even if they only lead to minor upgrades. Various paths connect the game's wings and districts, giving the world a strong sense of place, but the limited map doesn't make the connections clear if you're venturing off the critical path.
Beware of the jailers. They no longer serve their master.
Lords of Shadow 2 is stubbornly hand-holdy, nagging you with reminders, highlighting the path ahead, and making sure you know about routes you should come back to later. Because of this coddling, there's a sense of feeling stuck or even misdirected when the game isn't clearly pointing out the way forward. Thankfully, you can turn off many of these overbearing text hints in the settings menu. By the same token, platforming sections often employ Uncharted-style wall climbing and traversal, but some areas do require you to patiently observe and time your movement to navigate tricky traps. The combat system is sufficiently deep and gives you enough mobility to manage varied groups of enemies. The timing for blocks and dodges doesn't always feel intuitive, but the more time you spend with the system, the more it grows on you. In addition to Dracula's primary blood whip, you can switch to the lighter Void Sword to regain life with each attack, or you can swap to the Chaos Claws for stronger armor-breaking strikes. Each of these alternate weapons requires energy to use, and fighting more efficiently rewards you with more energy to draw from. By spending XP, you can unlock more combat skills, but the satisfaction of gaining new powers is a bit deflated by having separate branches for each weapon, forcing you to purchase similar skills multiple times. Still, there are enough techniques to provide a fun and diverse repertoire, and make you feel truly powerful by the end. Where Lords of Shadow 2 does well in its core competency, it fails in attempts to dabble in other areas. In all but one instance, stealth sections are purely awful linear affairs, disabling your weapons against enemies you should easily be able to rip to shreds. These tiresome sequences often involve literal rat mazes, as you possess vermin to search tunnels and chew electrical cables. Anytime you see the rocket-launching oafs known as Golgoth guards, you'll groan in frustration. The game also flirts with a few impotent but harmless co-op moments with an AI partner.
Take my hand and jump.
There are a few decent diversions, however, including some delightful moments in the Toymaker's Theater, run-ins with the shopkeeper Chupacabra, and an optional challenge arena to really flex your combat skills. Plus, once you finish the story, you can either freely explore for missing collectibles, or head right into New Game Plus to test your powered-up Dracula against a higher difficulty level.
This must be a dream.
Artistically, Lords of Shadow 2 is a beautiful looking game, and even the menus are filled with striking illustrations of each creature and weapon. Unfortunately, the visuals are marred by poor technical implementation that produces a messy, pixelated motion blur and jagged halos around objects positioned in front of bright backgrounds. The music sadly never breaks into triumphant reimaginings of classic Castlevania songs, but there are solid themes bolstered by somber piano, sweeping vocals, and electronic undercurrents representing the modern era.
Finish it off!
Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 could easily be a better game if some things were simply removed. Still, despite the unnecessary stealth sequences and other roadblocks, it truly does get better over the course of its 15 to 20 hours. It isn't a perfect modernization of all we love about Castlevania, but it certainly feels like a proper part of the bloodline. Diverse, connected environments, creepy characters, and fantastic boss designs speak to a journey that resonates stronger than the plot itself.
I hope I have pleased you, Excellency.